Hey, Kelly, Madison, Nancy. How is everybody? How is my night going? So I'm a little tired because it was a crazy weekend. My wife was in the hospital this weekend with heart issues. So it's been a crazy, crazy week for me, but we're here. So um, she's not okay yet, but we're seeing a specialist tomorrow. So she should be okay. Thanks, Nance. Okay, we're just waiting for the rest of the gang. Let's go live on Facebook, see if that works. There we go. Hey, Marina. Hang in there. We're just getting set up. There we go. Turn that Facebook volume down. There we go. That's down. Now we can go into. Perfect. Hope everybody's doing well tonight. Hope everybody had a great weekend. Yeah, I have to post up the video from last week, Nancy. We were on last week, but I just haven't gotten it up to the YouTube live channel just because of my craziness going on. As soon as that's done, we should be all good. Hey, Justin. Hey, Laura. Marina. So tonight's going to be open mic Monday once James and Andrew are on here. Basically what that means is that you'll get to post your questions and get them answered live, not only by us, but from other group members. So it should be great fun. Philip Wilson is in the house. Hey, Philip. SpongeBob is in the house.
I'm like a pineapple under the sea these days, for sure.
Exactly. Careful about that pineapple stuff, huh?
What's going on?
Nothing. We are live on Facebook already. 16 people in there and get 6 on here. So that's good. Good start. What's going on? So I don't think I told you, but Steph was in the hospital over the weekend. So that was my crazy weekend.
Oh, that'll keep it interesting. How's she doing?
Yeah, well, we don't know. We won't know until tomorrow. We're going to see a specialist. Her heart rhythm just went off the charts out of the blue, and she runs like 5 to 7 miles a day. So she's like super physically fit. It was just the weirdest freaking thing. She woke me up in the middle of the night. So we got to go to the hospital. I'm like, what? That's always a fun one, right?
Yeah, well, they usually say when somebody tells you they have to go, you better get in the car and go.
Yeah, yeah. And it's like, middle of the night. I think my heart was like going 900 because I was still in half asleep. So anyway, but she'll be okay. They got her on meds, and we'll figure out what's going on.
Oh, that's good. As long as she's doing all right. Phil Wilson said he hopes she's okay. So Phil
Yeah,
Wilson says
thanks.
she's going to be okay. We know she's going to be great.
Yeah, I was on the phone with him today. We were the application was having some issues because Apple did an update and threw our Salon Ninja into a whack on the mobile version. So we had to fix that. So that took quite a while. And Philip needs his iPad, damn it. Steph's in there too. She said, I'll be fine.
Where's Andrew? What's going on?
Good question. Where is Waldo?
Yeah, the hacking thing was pretty funny. So for you guys that are on for the pre-show, Andrew apparently got hacked on Facebook.
Just so you know, he wasn't hacked.
He wasn't hacked?
No, that was his message. I thought he was too. That's funny.
Oh my God. That's actually hilarious. Well, I had answered him back like saying, "Hey, I think you're hacked," and he said no, and he could have said no, it's really me, Andrew. Like I just sent you that, for whatever. But he just gave me like a one-word answer, and I was like, "Wait, that's really weird."
So Nancy asked if you can use Salon Ninja from your phone. Yes, you can, Nancy, normally, but today, because of the most recent Apple update, we had to do some software fixes. So it's back up and running now.
What do you do? Just go through your regular Safari browser?
Yeah, you would go on Safari, preferably Google Chrome on your phone, just because Safari is so buggy. Google Chrome or even Google Incognito and log in that way, the same way you would log in desktop.
Yeah, I thought I was the only one that knew how to do that.
Philip and Mary are rock stars. Holy crap. They're using tasks and Mary's assigning him tasks and everything else.
Well, they definitely are because Philip's actually using his own Facebook profile these days. So he's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree, Philip. Google Chrome, I have a lot more success with.
Yeah. Yeah, Nancy, you can download Google Chrome even to an Apple and use it instead of the Safari browser. Safari is really wonky, especially when you're using outside applications. Here he comes. There's Waldo.
You back in the Sahara, my friend?
I am.
You're in Mumbai with your hacker?
It's hot. No hackers. No hackers.
Let me tell you, it felt like that here today till those storms hit.
Yeah, they hit big time.
My God, we had golf ball size hail here.
You did?
Yeah.
Well, your jet doesn't look any worse for damage.
Oh, my jet? No.
He's actually in a submarine.
Yeah, it was parked in the hangar.
That's like a Nemo submarine, right?
Exactly.
Oh, God.
I was hanging out in James's pineapple there under the water.
James, hey Lara, were you guys open today?
This was our very first Monday ever in 9 years. So we went to our 6-day work week starting today. So it was interesting, and it didn't rain at all by the salon. And I'm 4 miles from my house. I drove home and power lines were down, and it was pandemonium. So I don't know. Maybe we only had rainbows and nice stuff around the salon today. That was the first time in 2 weeks.
And rainbows, right?
That's it. Well, Philip said it's only 76 in Palm Springs where Philip is now, which is great. That's about they all have their fur coats on.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
So tonight's Open Mic Monday, everybody that's on the call so far. We're going to wait a few more minutes, give it the usual 10 minutes. Open Mic Monday means that anybody can post up questions or have their own chats with us. And as a group, we're answering the questions, not just us as moderators. And I apologize for not having a lot of content tonight, but like I said, it's been a crazy weekend for me. So
Yeah, I think the last open mic was, well, the last open mic was a lot of fun. The open mic before that,
so which one are we talking about? The
Open
one with
mics are good.
Statland?
I just work here, man. I don't know what you're
Yeah,
talking about.
As the world changes.
Oh, it's as the world turns. That's what we should change it to now that the beauty business has officially reset. This should be as the world turns.
Well, I think we're resetting as we're going. That's what it appears to look like. I don't know about you, James.
You know, it's listen, I see the light at the end of the tunnel now.
Okay,
Unless you live in New York.
just as
Unless you
long
live
as
in
it's
New
not
York.
the train coming your way.
Well,
Andrew's got to put a bulletproof vest on pretty soon.
it was good. We we made it through our second week. We still have some clients that are a little bit afraid, but our specialty is more on the natural side, so we deal a lot in clients that are immunocompromised or have allergies and things like that. But all in all, I mean, the staff got pretty quickly used to these weird new sanitation protocols. I know everybody likes to say we've always been sanitizing, but man, my poor leather chairs have never been polished so much before. But it's good. They sort of have a rhythm now, which is good going into week three, which I think is the most important thing.
So Michaeline just posted up our first question of the evening. Even though it's a little early, we can still get into it.
Let's go.
I have a question. Where is the best place for recruiting help? And that's an interesting question.
Let's ask, what have you tried so far?
Yeah, it's a good question,
Michaeline,
Andrew.
yeah, where have you posted so far, Michaeline?
I mean, I think too, it depends on area. We've done, the issue where we are in North Jersey is we have a 97% college entrance rate where we are. So you don't have as many people that say, hey, I really want to do hair and go to beauty school. We're more likely to get them where they did 2 years of college or a year and a half. And, their parents finally said, hey, you tried it. Now you can go to beauty school. So you tend to get them a little bit outside of the range. ZipRecruiter. So, Michaeline, I would tell you this: ZipRecruiter, if you're an ADP account, you get ZipRecruiter for free. So, not that I want to pitch ADP, they've always done really good by us, and the cost is the cost, but that's built in. You get it. I don't know if it's three or four job postings at any given time that you get complimentary because they're integrated. Craigslist seems to work well in our area for some reason. Matt and Jen, I'm friends with at Canvas Recruit. Canvas Recruit hasn't really taken off where we are so far in New Jersey, but they do some fun stuff depending on your area. What do you think, Andrew? Where do you think people are getting? I know what you're going to say, Andrew. That's why I asked you.
Thank you.
Birth them from eggs, right?
Where are they getting? They are getting, we're assuming they're getting. That's the first assumption. Still recommendations, I mean, from other people. My folks who I work with down in Texas, that's been recommendation. People kind of rolling into town. Now they have on their website, join us, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. They use Google, they use Facebook, and they run ads on Google basically.
What was interesting? We have a decent sized Paul Mitchell Partner School over here in Hackensack. Harry Comp, which I don't know. I think Derek. I think you know Harry. He's been in business a really long time. And what's funny is we had gone to a few. We had done a couple of classes and things there. The oddity is if you have a line that you use, you're not allowed to bring it in. So if you said, "Hey, we use this color line," and you love it so much, you're sort of stuck with just technical. You can't really bring your own wares. But what was interesting is when I talked to Harry, he said that most of the students that they get in already know where they're going to work before they start beauty school. So whether they have a family friend that's in the business that sort of talked them into going to beauty school or something. So it's kind of interesting that if you're not getting them early, um, you're sort of missing you may be missing some of the better graduates that actually are motivated. The other thing too is Votech. Bergen County Technical, which is close to us, they basically graduate high school with a cosmetology license, and they're sort of a forgotten crew that they wind up just getting like an hourly job at some salon because no one ever goes into the technical school to teach these kids anything. So if you have a tech school, I wouldn't sleep on them.
So Denise said, one of my receptionists put signs in her car window. We got interest immediately.
Yeah, any way you get the message out there, right? So one of the most effective ways I've found, depending on what state you live in, most state boards of cosmetology will sell you the license list for your state. If you can get that, then you can do what we showed in last week's class, do a hiring funnel that goes out over a year. And the reason for that is because that person may not be ready to jump ship right now, but if you're messaging them out over the period of a year periodically, you're going to be in the right place at the right time when they're ready to make a move. That's one thing. Obviously, all the regulars, Instagram, ZipRecruiter, Indeed, Craig's. This area, I've always had great luck with Craigslist. A lot of people say that that's bottom of the barrel. I disagree. It's all personality. The skills can be taught. So all these things, it's not one answer. It's everything all at once.
Yeah, and I think that when you hire for fit and you train. I mean, it's someone that has a little bit of personality that's a good fit for your staff. We've never done great as a small boutique salon. I hope she's not on here, but we tried to hire a hot shot. She seemed to be a fit in terms of her lifestyle, I guess, that fit with our brand. We always say we're a lifestyle brand, right? We're more on the natural side. We care about the environment and our community and things. And she seemed like a good fit on paper. She looked the part. She wore all black when she came in. She actually had her hair done, which is always a first sign of a good interview. And she worked for a few complete rock stars. Ted Gibson. She worked for Rita Hazan. She worked for a bunch of places and assisted. And she was just a horrible employee. I mean, I think we got rid of her. She was my fastest fire, and she wasn't even officially hired because she didn't even make her 3-day waiting period before we let her go. And we had a really high-end training with my good friend Sally Rogerson set up for our staff. So I sent her on the arm, and I said, this is a good thing. And Sally actually called me during the class and said, I won't tell you, I can't do a British accent. I could bring my daughter up here to do it, but she told me in her British accent something I probably wouldn't repeat until we get later into the call about what the hell was I doing. We'll say she didn't say that. I'm putting that in brackets, but yeah, hire for fit and train, and then work it out from there.
So Madison just asked a question, is this still for salon owners only? Madison, it is for salon owners only unless they have asked that their managers or key employees can join, because some of those key employees help manage their salons in some instances. It also is for beauty industry influencers, which means maybe an educator that's a platform artist or something like that. So we have a little bit of a diverse crew. If we find somebody that's just a stylist that snuck into the group without permission, then they are removed. But if an owner asks that they be in here, then we are certainly going to accommodate those owners.
That was Suzanne, by the way. She's logged into her daughter's iPad.
Oh, okay.
She brings up a good point, though. I mean, at some point as we evolve too, and we get into a little more of a regular, it's not, it may not be a bad thing to have stylists come on. I mean, you talk about retail and things like that, and it's always from the owner's perspective and what our expectations are and things that they can do. But, from a training perspective, I still think it's better more as a one-on-one from a coaching perspective than it is to be broad spectrum like that. But, it's good to hear. I always hate to say both sides, but.
And we have them in here, right? Bella's a stylist, but she's a key employee for ILDA. So there are those stylists that are in the group who have a management type role in their salons. And it's also nice to hear from both those sides. But no, we don't randomly let stylists into the group unless they have been okayed by an owner, because we don't want to get in a conflict here in the group where an owner might be talking about their employees in the salon, because this is a place to vent. And we had a post on the board this week that I had to calm down with some people attacking an owner who vented. And James, you saw the post, because she said that her employees were ungrateful because they didn't want to pay taxes when they made $3,000 in a week. Well, yeah, I mean, we could all get into that. That's education and things like that. But you know what? Us owners, we do get frustrated, right? Of course, and that's why we're a safe place to vent. So we try and keep it that way for all you salon owners, just so you know that you have somewhere to go, that you can let it all hang out.
Safe place.
That's it. Well, Cindy Ventura on Facebook had said about doing an unpaid internship, which I love the idea, see who shows up and how hard they work. The only problem with that, Cindy, is some states like New Jersey, it's impossible to do that. It's just there's no way. Even the beauty schools now, I don't know how it is in other states, but there used to be a way to give them hours, right? You could say, hey, clock them in at 15 or 20 hours and send them to a salon to get off-site training, and it qualified them as hours in for school, and they took that away too. So it's, listen, the beauty schools just do not want to work with the salons, and I just for the life of me, cannot figure out why.
Well, there's some states, I mean, some states are really liberal, and part of that education, they can be non-paid while they're working for you, and it counts towards their hours, which is great. It's beyond great. Somebody just talked about hiring a stylist that may already have a following, right? An experienced stylist. So in my experience, the best way that I've seen that happen, now this is here in New Jersey, and New Jersey is kind of a weird bubble because it's super competitive for those, we'll call them stylists with books, okay? And there's plenty of areas like that, but we used to offer a $5,000 sign-on bonus. Now that sounds like a crazy amount of money for some stylists, but it was phased in after we saw their book. So what we would do is say, yeah, we'll give you the $5,000. It's going to be based on what you bring in a month. We're going to take it after 3 months average and see how much of your book you brought in. And then we'll start paying them whatever we agreed to pay them and hand them a $5,000 bonus. During those 3 months, we would be saving that money for the $5,000 bonus, right? So it's a delayed entry program, we'll call it, because you got to take your profit to then pay as a bonus, but you can see if somebody's going to produce that book. Now, if it's not $5,000, they only produce $1,500 average, then that's their bonus. But it's very enticing to get them through the door with the ad that says a $5,000 bonus, right? So that's one way to get people with books.
Yeah, it's good. And listen, it's always the scales of justice, right? That we never did great with somebody with a book because we're very specific in terms of our commissions that we pay. But our salon thought process is we want you to grow not just in your skills, but we want you to, and we obviously want you to stay, but stylists typically don't have 401ks or health benefits and things like that. And we offer all of those things, but we want someone that's going to be tenured, that's going to stay with us. So, when you're used to working in a salon that pretends to give you 60% and they have all these weird surcharges and things like that, we don't do any of those charges. I mean, if you want to make more money, let's look at your book and how your rebooking is and raise your prices. Like, if you told me how much money you wanted to make, I think Andrew and I talked about that offline one time. If you said, hey, I want to buy a new car, and I said, the car costs this much, Andrew would say to me, great, let's raise your prices $10 and the amount of clients you do, you'll have that car in 6 months. And they were like, they came in wanting to ask for a higher commission rate, but in reality of it is they should be charging more money if they're that booked and they're that important to the salon, and they could get it even, and then it's a residual, right? You qualify, you raise your prices, and you keep that money. After you buy the car, you still make the car money.
We all know this as coaches. Lesson number one, group, if you haven't heard this from somebody, is that every time you reach 70 to 80% booked, you should be raising your prices, period. And that's beside your yearly price increase as a salon. Christine's haircuts wouldn't be how much, James, if she didn't follow that theory?
To be honest with you, I say 200, but I think she's actually 250. And she has guys.
So
What's funny is that, Christine and I did a charity event. So she had done an event for Hurricane Sandy, and then we had done one for the other states, and it wound up being mudslides and wildfires all at the same time. So we did it at Bellworks, and she
I
had
was
male
there.
clients. Yeah, right. She had male clients that were coming in to support the charity that were paying her haircut price to get haircuts in like an atrium at a table with no mirror or anything. And they were paying her the
Yeah.
money, and she donated all the money. And it was like, I said, wait a minute, did they donate 250, or that's what you charge for a men's haircut? And you turn
Both.
around, right? Yeah, your $15 barbershop haircut, right?
And that's great. And folks, if you can continue to keep your book packed, you should keep raising your prices until you find that fine line, right, Andrew, where it teeters. And Andrew, you're great at this because you had guys at Mark Garrison that were making what, $5,000 a week or more.
Yeah, making
Yeah, that's a nice.
booking
So
booking more, booking a lot more.
yeah,
Yeah, booking 500,000, and up, that kind of
yeah.
thing.
How's that? Somebody, a stylist booking 500,000, right?
But look. It's a function of pricing, and it's a function of a lot of things. You can do it. It's possible. There are people. There are people all over the country. You don't have to be in New York. Who are the stories of people? It's true, who are booking that amount of money. Um, you just have to be focused,
And there's
prices do have to be. You have to charge a nice whack.
well, yeah, and I mean, let's think about it though. That haircut, I had a stylist in Red Bank, James. I forget. He's not there anymore. It was by his first name. I'm not even going to mention him. His salon was named after him, and he was charging $150 haircuts. And he asked me to come in and coach, and I said to him, okay, you're charging 150, but you're not busy. He said, but I have to keep my reputation. And I said, what reputation do you have? You don't have any customers. I could say I'm charging $500 and have no customers. You're better off building a book at 60 and then increasing it in increments going up, right? I mean, and that's the way you have to operate as a salon owner. You get busy, you find that point, that break point when you can raise your prices, and that should be one of your key indicators for raising prices. The other thing is a salon, you should be doing it yearly, period, because everything goes up. Milk, bread, COVID charges, everything, right? And I hate to say that word, but it's so true.
Well, it's funny. We had so we raised our prices, and we didn't do a COVID.
You're not supposed to name names.
We opted to not do a COVID care fee on the listing because I don't want to take it back. Like I think that a lot of the cost factor that's changed. Maybe there'll be no masks at some point, but a lot of the other things that you have to implement are going to be there to stay. And so what? It was time. It's as you put a $5 or $10 charge on now, and all of a sudden next year comes and prices go up because your distributors were hit, and then you say, hey, we're going to take it away because there's no mask, and then they say, well, why didn't you take it away? Well, color went up $5. So I don't want to get into the math wars later on and get into algebra with clients. But I had a client ask, one of our girls, we only raised her haircut price $5 because she's sort of at the top end. And that was really just mass coverage and all that stuff. It wasn't meant to be a penalty fee or anything. And she turned, and this, by the way, this girl works 3 days a week. She's completely booked out. She does rock star grade haircut. She probably should charge more money, but you just have to be careful in our area how high you go up. But $85 is a pretty healthy haircut price. Why is it $5 more? And I said, man, you can't get in with this girl. I know we can only take one client at a time right now, but even when it wasn't that, you couldn't get a haircut with her for 6 weeks. Now now she's booking into September. I probably should have thought up better and raised the price higher.
So Cindy asked a good question. Andrew, I'd like you to answer it first, then you, James, and then I'll jump in. But she said, what are a few ways to explain to your stylist, not the customers, your stylist, because stylists get this, I don't know why, but they get this personal involvement over you as an owner setting prices. But how do you explain to your stylist why you're raising prices and they are losing guests? Now, I would say before we get in deep,
are they losing guests?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I mean, I don't, what is the question, Cindy?
So the question is, how do you explain this to your stylist? Why you're raising prices, and they are she's saying they're
No, put the
presumably,
emphasis on that.
yes,
So the
but
emphasis was on, and why are they losing guests? So in other words, the owner
yeah.
decides to raise prices, and they are losing their
Well,
guests.
I would say that that's probably education on them educating their clients why you're raising prices. But Andrew, I'll let you kick it off.
Yeah, well,
It's
that's
all yours.
it's really interesting. I mean,
So she said some of the guests they've been having for over 20 years have dropped off. Well, maybe it's
well,
time.
that perhaps that doesn't have to do. Pricing's an easy, just in my experience, pricing's an easy thing to peg as a reason because it's tangible. It's easy for a client to say because it's less offensive from a client's perspective. They're not going to say, well, I just don't feel you've taken care of me or looked at me. But so that $5 increase, it's rarely about the price. That's just been my experience. It's rarely. It's about the basket of other things that go around the price. I mean, yeah, there are some people who will, object and leave. But, if you have a system, that's why a tiered system sometimes works. I don't know what you have in your salon, Cindy, but truth be told, it is rarely about the price. And then as an owner, let's not get offensive around it. Let's examine, let's ask a question. So what else? Okay, let's leave prices, let's put price here. What else do you think is going on? And open it up. So, excuse me. Because that's
James, I'm sorry.
James.
Well, and it's funny that there was a couple of comments that came in the Zoom group that Patty said price becomes an issue when value is not received, and Carol said if you lose a client, you'll make it up on another. They were looking for an out, which may be the case. Sometimes clients are, they feel like, when there's a bad client and you feel bad about breaking up with them, I'm sure it happens the other way. My thing is that from the training that I do with salons is I think it's laziness. I think that stylists that get really booked and they're busy and they're always like, it's like even when a client's late, right? At some point, the client's 5 minutes late, something happened, something's going on. You need to be able to recover that. You don't just look at them and say, you're 10 minutes late. I know 10 minutes can derail a day, but you need to make sure that they value your time and you value their time. And my specialty is retail, and I feel like when salons call me and try to have me help them with their retail, it's not about the retail dollars that the salon makes per se, right? I mean, there's a million things that are of value, that points and back bar and all that stuff. But if you're not explaining and educating your client, making something, why are you the expert? Why are you telling them what they should use when they're coming in with fried hair and not using a heat protectant, or they're using their tools wrong, or you're using these super high-end $50 brushes and they're using these crap ones from Harmon's. That's all part of your expertise. And if they don't see that value, whether you're a $5 haircut or a $500 haircut, it's not going to make a difference.
Yeah, I think a great formula, if we can use formulas, and we can, is value and service, not price alone, determine customer choices. That is the formula: value and service, not price.
One of the things, Andrew, 100%. One of the things I just saw a comment on, and Cindy knew the answer already. I guess she was looking for us to help. She said, using their words, they keep coming back to me because of a relationship. My answer: we don't price on relationships. 100%. The biggest problem I had as an owner is that stylists become friends with the clients. It's okay to be friendly, but not be a friend. When you become a friend, you might as well go do their hair at home for free, right? Because that's what they're expecting from you, from that relationship. You've got to take it to the professional side and have a professional friendship. Okay, that's different than, you know, we're buddies hanging out at the bar and come to my house and can you give me a quick trim? Because that's what they're starting to perceive in your salon. And that comes from an leadership stance. You have to educate your stylist that they are not your friend. They are a client. You can be friendly, but be professional. Okay. And if they are not happy with that, then yes, what one of the other members said, make room for that higher paying client. Sometimes you're just going to have to deal with that.
Our friend Mary Wilson said, and you're right, Mary, sometimes stylists don't believe they're worthy of it. You know, so it comes down to a confidence issue. And with a lot of people, confidence is a big deal. And I don't mean being obnoxious about it, just an inner confidence that you're worth it. What was that L'Oreal commercial? Because you're worth it. Because they're worth it. Because your business is worth it.
Know your value. Know your personal value, whether you're a friend or not. If somebody wanted to come to my house to get a haircut, of course, that'd be dangerous. But if they wanted to do that, I'd charge double to come to my house, right? If you want to be, if you're that good of a friend, then you should spend more money with me, not less money.
Well, and it's funny, if you guys remember talking about the confidence thing, right? Vanessa Rose, who we had on, I mean, I don't know, episode 999.5. I mean, a long time ago now. You know, she talked a lot about, we talked a little about the mirror, right? That the reflection of what happens and what bounces off back on you as the stylist while that client's kind of just spewing whatever's going on in their life. You know, you're worthy to be their therapist, right? You're worthy to be the one to see, you know, X marks the spot, right? You see something on their head and you say, hey man, maybe you better go to the doctor and check this out. So you have all this value until you say, hey, my haircut went up $3. Oh my God. I mean, I know you helped me diagnose my melanoma and you did my hair for my daughter's wedding the 15th time, but $3? Oh my God, you're horrible. You know, but that's, and not, listen, I know Philip's on here, but those are the kind of things for you guys as owners to teach your staff. You know, Philip's method is just really funky and cool. It's just something different that they haven't seen. So if you're not getting your staff education that kind of keeps them enchanted with the business and not just doing the same clients all day, you know, those are things that help confidence too, that they start to say, wow, this is, you know, you need a little bit of life built back in. And I know after coming off of this crazy few months, it's not as easy to get everybody so motivated to jump in and do some cool stuff.
So Sarah Lee says, what about my area? My town is considered low income, but yet 8 miles up the road is better. So
why aren't you bringing the 8 miles up the road down to your town? That would be my question.
The question, yeah, I mean, people will travel. People do travel. Mm-hmm. I mean, maybe not 8 miles, certainly 6. If there's no big obstacles in front of it, it all depends. And you can always there's always a number one place in every area. So be that number one place. I mean, maybe you're not going to get what they used to get over here and around the corner from me, down the street from me.
Yeah, and you know, Sarah, tell us where you are, because Sarah had a good point. She said, you know, 30 to 45 minutes to travel 8 miles, and we're sort of in that same mode where we are in Bergen County. I mean, a 4 mile ride could be a half hour easy. The Parkway is sort of our divider. So friends of mine that own salons in Ridgewood that are high end, you know, we always kind of joke, we'll go out for drinks and salon, you know, clients think that we're competitors. They're like, you know, I went to this other really cool place. And it's like, listen, once you're on the other side, it's like being on the dark side of the moon at that point. I mean, that half hour ride and you have to cross the Parkway is just not happening.
It's 30 to 45 minutes is a big deal.
Yeah, it is.
That's a big deal. So in your catchment area, you know, you really have to look at the income, and it may be pricing, but do not short shrift yourself. Be the best in your town. That's all, and don't play the pricing game with everyone else. You know, $2 less. You're gonna take. That's the road to perdition.
So $2 yourself out of business.
No, that is the road to perdition.
Yeah.
That salon that says, look, Andrew, you coach Luda, and Luda is in a market where there are a bunch of cheaper salons, yet she's able to charge 5 times the prices, right? Why?
Yeah.
Why? There's no reason why. Well, there is a reason why. The reason why is because of the level of service they give, and they've set themselves as the #1 day spa in that area to go to. Okay, it's all perception. It's all a matter of perception. It's the difference between the $60 haircut, which is the exact same haircut as the $400 haircut. It's all perception. It's that value of what I am getting from the experience, not the haircut. And when you can sell an experience, because that's what we're selling an experience, not a great job on the hair. That's part of it. Okay. When everybody gets that through their mind as a salon owner, and Andrew, you and I were sat in a seminar with the head of American Express or whatever company it was. And that's their exact words. They said, in any business, you're selling an experience, especially in these days. People want an experience because they want to get outside of their normal life inside the house. They want to go out to dinner instead of cooking. They want to go be pampered in the best salon or spa, and they're willing to pay that.
Well, it's funny. Carmela just brought up a really good point in the Facebook group. She said, I know she's going to catch this 5 minutes later, but she said, they pay $60 plus an hour 3 times a week for a personal trainer at the gym. And she goes, I know that I did. And then when I realized what I was charging for my service, what are we thinking? So, they pay for better quality and things that are more close to what their lifestyle is. So, like I said earlier, we always considered ourselves a lifestyle brand. We're not just a hair salon. We don't just do hair color and haircuts. We look at things a little more objectively for what they want to do. And I still am, my heart of hearts, I feel like retail, doesn't matter what line you carry, plays such a big component of that, because if you don't know what your client's lifestyle is, I've never met a salon when I do a training on retail, have their staff ask, what's your lifestyle like? What do you do? And clients say, what do you mean? Well, are you a tennis player? Are you a swimmer? What do you do outside of the salon? I know I just blew you out and your hair is beautiful. You're going to go to dinner tonight, but what do you look like on Monday? How often do you wash your hair? What is it? And clients look and they say, well, why are you asking me that? Well, I can make you look great on a Friday night to go out to dinner, but if you're going to leave your hair wet and you're really curly by nature and you want to put something in, they remember that when their hair looks great and they go to work and they let it air dry with some leave-in curl product, and the secretary or somebody at the front says, wow, your hair looks great today. Who do you think they're thinking of? They're not thinking of the product they gave them.
Yeah, that's fantastic. That's unique. And people remember uniqueness. They will remember you for those questions. And whether they buy then, at some time they will buy.
And guess
and
what?
They'll return.
It costs this.
Marketing 101 is your USP, right, Andrew?
Mm-hmm.
It's your unique selling point. Some people call it whatever it is. What sets you apart? What is your vision for your salon? And is your team living that vision? Because if they're not, then you're failing as an owner. And I'm not saying that in a bad way, but you're failing because you're not educating your team to live that vision with you.
Yeah, true. And we're I think, we knew we were coming into the decade of the experience. Remember, Derek, they're talking about the experience economy. Well, I think we're really in the experience economy. We've been catapulted into it.
How many of us are not dying to freaking sit down at the best restaurant and sit at a table right now? I mean, come on, folks. People are thinking about their hair the same way right now. Make it that experience, because New Jersey, we're still not open to go out to eat. So I can't freaking wait till the first time I get to sit at, I don't care if I have to pay $200 for that meal, to just sit at that table and have a great experience, have somebody serve me, and just, that's what I'm waiting for. And your clients are no different right now with their hair. If you're missing that opportunity, you're missing a key leadership opportunity right now by teaching your team that. It's all asking those questions. If your stylists are saying, oh my God, I can't do this. Well, why can't you do it? Why can't you lead with this vision that we have? And find out why, because it's usually just a simple roadblock that they're having in their own mind that you could correct instantly. And as soon as you correct that, boom, that's all about getting your team together and setting the experience as a whole.
Well, and I hate to be the techie of the group, right? But what you guys are missing out on this opportunity right now, and it doesn't matter what your software is. I know we talked in the beginning a little bit about Salon Ninja and some of the great things that it does, but if you're limited in your conversations and consultations right now because of masks and the process of intaking a client and what they do. But what is your pre-consultation like? I told a few salon owners, so obviously anybody, especially that's on Zoom today, if you have a Zoom account, one of the really cool things is you can actually send them, instead of giving your cell phone number and having them break your stones at 11:45 at night about their hair, you can use Zoom just for phone call only with no video, which is really cool. Or you could do video. You could also do video one way, where if you're in your underwear and you're off that day and you just want to see the client's hair, they don't have to see you. So there's a lot of flexibility in that. But the pre-consultation, the post-service, the things that we forget about sometimes because we're busy, like those follow-up opportunities, getting that data now while you're only doing one client at a time. You have to figure you're servicing your core clientele, right? If you used to see 50 clients a week, you're seeing 25. Well, the 25 that you were able to get in are probably your 25 best out of that 50. So while you have them, ask the questions, get the data. Stylists are so infamous. And I know, listen, we have a really good clientele. We have a really good staff of looking out the window and saying, man, I forget who this is. Oh yeah, now I know who she is. And looking at her face and not really remembering exactly, especially if it's a client that's not in every 4 weeks or 6 weeks for a long time. But don't waste the opportunity. Get the data now. Rebuild. Just because you had to do all the sanitation nonsense and put your hand sanitizer units out and your signs that you have to wear a mask, don't lose the data. You have weeks of being able to capture this data.
I think on the pricing thing, with stylists, we have to connect them or reconnect them with what their dream is, what they want. I'm sure everyone wants more. We want more, not just the money, we want more of the stuff money can buy, happiness, fulfillment, and all those things. And unless we somehow connect people, our team, with that and future oriented, because if everything's right here, it's kind of yucky. So we want to be future oriented with them and help them really address what's going on. And I submit that a lot of the resistance to pricing is coming out of fear. And I think, and
you get the vision boards ready, right, for future, and
yeah,
find out what they're fearing, and it's amazing to me, and I understand it, but it is amazing to me how many stylists actually fear having a conversation with these clients that they call friends.
All of them.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. So you've got to teach your stylists, and we talked about a lesson. I think it was in BBR, maybe probably 2 or 3 out of all these we've done, right? Which was get them to start doing Facebook Lives. And I know that sounds like a stupid thing, but if you can get them to start doing Facebook Lives in the salon, about the salon, you will take them out of their fear factor so quick, it will blow your mind.
Yeah, I think that's a great suggestion. Really, really, find out what's going on. There's only 3 types of fears. Fear of loss. There's a pain associated with it. Loss pain, process pain, meaning just doing it's going to be so painful that I fear it's just, I can't see myself doing it. And I think a lot of people really get into that mode. They see themselves doing this and it just looks too hard. It looks too hard to do the consult that way. Okay, it's going to be too painful in some respects. They'll be too awkward, etc. So that's called process pain. And the outcome pain is, oh yeah, it's not going to even be worth all the effort because the outcome's going to be no different than what I have now. So they fear that the outcome is going to be the same. And so really when we start to dig down and understand what's driving people, and fear is one of the big factors, we can help them move through it. But we gotta communicate with them and not assume that it's a traditional, all this stuff. Ask them questions. So what's really going on? Tell me more. And listen.
We had another question coming in on Zoom. It's a little bit to a different topic. It said, I'd like to know if anyone has ever hired a virtual assistant. What was your experience and how did you pay them? So I've got a whole course on that can take an hour to teach. But virtual assistants, depending on what you're using them for, should only be used for jobs that are non-CEO jobs or non-front desk jobs. So if you're looking to do other duties that those two areas can't do, then a virtual assistant's a great thing. Generally, they run about $600 to $800 a month for a full-time virtual assistant. You can contact me, Jeanette, if you'd like to know how to do it, how to hire, all those things with a virtual assistant. I can help you out, but it's a long class on it. But just remember, if you're hiring a virtual assistant, you're basically replacing your front desk with somebody that's not there. Your front desk should be able to do the jobs of the virtual assistant.
Yeah, you lose a little bit of that camaraderie too in the front desk. It's like
Exactly.
like even now we've been completely virtual for the first 2 weeks of being open because our waiting area is closed and all that by state law, and it's very weird. There's days when I'm there and everything's blocked off, and clients walk in and they're like, "Am I allowed to say hi to you?" And I'm like, "Of course you're allowed to say hello. It's just just don't walk past this line.
Just that I have a mask and a black hat and a black mask and a black T-shirt, so I look like James the Ninja." So that was a funny picture, by the way, James. James posted a picture and said, guess where I am, robbing a bank, working at the salon, or what was the other one? Something like that.
Outlaw paintball.
Oh, okay.
Truthfully, I got something in my with doing some of the work outside. I actually got something in my eye, so my eye was driving me bananas. So I had goggles on to protect my eye, not really to protect me from COVID. And it just sort of looked par for the course. I kind of like it though.
Yeah. I want to add something to Jeanette Gilbert on the virtual assistant. What you need, and Derek can take you through it, is real clarity on what that position is, what you want that person to do, how you want them to show up. You must be clear, and it has to be in writing and really systematize.
And you better have software to track what they're doing, because they'll tell you they're doing everything, and unless you're actually logged into their computer as they're doing it, you're going to lose money, period. So I've got some better suggestions for you if you want to get together in a free private call. Not a problem. James, what else we got coming in here?
Let's see, virtual assistant. A lot of love on Facebook for. Let's see. Well, actually, Cindy had a good thing to. Actually, that's
there you go. Yeah, she's asking Andrew thoughts on training up a salon manager who is not a stylist. Now, I'm going to say quickly before we talk about
why me? You Derek.
No. I know, but I coach her, so it's good to hear from a different perspective. But I personally think that non-stylist managers have such a great value in our industry if they can learn quickly booking times and things like that they are invaluable in our industry because they will support your salon in most cases more than a stylist will. A stylist will tend to go towards the mentality of a stylist, and this is just facts, and they will support the stylist feelings and things like that, which is important. But you need somebody that supports your business as a manager. If you can find both, then oh my God, you got the best manager on the planet. But that's just a quick thought on it. Now, training, Andrew.
That's a great question. I would ask, do you have a system? that do you have things in writing for them to look at? You know, number one. Do you, if you do, great. And you can start there. You can have them shadow you. I would be really, I've seen people make this mistake that they really can't afford to hire someone who doesn't work behind the chair in management. And that creates a host of problems. But assuming that you can, assuming that you have the budget to do so, I would sit down. I'd introduce them to my coach, Derek, and I would, with my coach, design a program, really, a formal program that you're going to take them through. I think they have to. I think the math part is very important. If they don't get the math, they can be great, but they're not going to be uber helpful to you in running the business, because their ability to make decisions is going to be hampered. Not that they couldn't, but you know, they're going to have to, if you're asking for them to make recommendations, they have to substantiate the recommendations, and not just because they feel that way. And they really have to understand your business. So you're going to have to open the books to them.
Those decisions have to be made on the fly. They have to be made quickly, because one of the most important decisions, not during COVID, but let's say you're going through slower times. I've seen it all the time where managers will just leave 10 stylists standing around instead of saying, well, you know, granted, you're still paying them, but make sure you got the book covered, but keep a couple on, but not 10 people who are non-productive, because they don't just ask the simple question, okay, who wants to go home? And I promise you, knowing stylists, that a lot of them will say, yeah, you know what, I'd like the afternoon off, I'll go home, that kind of thing. It's micromanaging the book, the time slots, all those things. A great manager has to be able to multitask like nobody on the planet. James, that's you.
I'm going to give you,
right?
I'm going to give you something interesting to add to it, right? So the issue is that typically a salon owner, I'm sure 90+% of the cases, is a stylist, right? They have their vision, they want to open their salon, so they're used to being on the floor with other staff, and whether they train from the ground up or bring people along, and maybe a salon closed, whatever the case may be. And then they get busy enough that they need a manager. So if they don't have someone that they can hire that has familiarity with the hair industry, they hire somebody green, and the owner tends to side with the floor, right? Hey, we should all wear black because uniforms can make things look unified if you're going to have a higher price point, especially, right? Well, you know, we like the flexibility. And you bring on a manager, whether they're young, old, experienced, inexperienced, and they're gung-ho about trying to do some really great things for your business, and they're excited about what you talk to them, just like you bring on a new stylist and oh my God, we do all this training, and 9 months later they're like, hey, we haven't done any training at all in 9 months. So you bring the desk person on, you say, wow, we're this great salon, we have a great Instagram following, we do all these really cool things, and you don't give them any responsibilities or any leeway off the leash. And when they do, you go back and side with the floor and you say, well, we don't put things here because, you're not a stylist, you don't understand. And I think sometimes the owner needs to be able to step out of the box too and say, you need to run your business sometimes, right? When you're the owner that's completely booked and you're 5 days a week on the floor, drop a day. Raise your prices 20% and lose a day. I don't care if it's Monday, Wednesday, Saturday, whatever day you want. Raise your prices to compensate for that day and get yourself off the floor for at least one day. And when your clients see you in there and they say, why is Derek not cutting my hair today? Because Derek owns the business and Derek needs to do business stuff. Like
that's a great, that is totally great.
Yeah.
James.
One thing I'd like to add to that is, if you do have a manager, one of the big problems I see, and you brought this up, is the owner circumvents the manager. If you're going to hire a manager, you have to set a chain of command. You're the owner, you delegate to the manager. The manager then makes those things happen. You don't jump over the manager and go down to the bottom of the chain of command and have friendships and then circumvent the manager. Otherwise, don't have a manager, okay? Have a manager and let them run your place for you, because that's what they are. They're managing your place. Do not circumvent them, or do not have a manager.
Well, you have to keep those meetings separate too. It's like, you know, if you're a working owner behind the chair and you have a management team, even if it's a receptionist that's a go-getter, you can't have all of those meetings together at the same time, because, you know, the staff is going to overlap and totally consume that person that's at the front desk, because, you know, it's just the way that it's the law of the masses, right? They're going to say, well, we don't like that idea of doing this or filling out tickets this way, or and you know, you need to make sure that you're respectful. Just like if your staff said, hey, I wish we could do this differently, and you have 10 people on staff, if you only have one person at the front desk, so pretend they're 10 people, and you have to have those meetings separate and be able to hear both sides and be objective and say, maybe you're going to miss really, really good ideas, because I have to tell you, as the front desk person, I have fantastic ideas.
You know, it's established. First, you need, again, I'll use the word clarity around what the job is. And so please have a job, whatever we want to call it, a job description, an agreement with the person in writing. In writing. Don't hire anyone if you don't have the clarity around it. What are they going to do? And it doesn't have to be, you know, we're not Fortune 500 here, but there needs to be something. As a matter of fact, there needs to be something for every position in your organization, but that's another story for another day. James's idea, and if you're not doing that, you know, now make sure you do it. Get time to your management duties, your ownership duties. Book another way of doing it, and I love the you know, taking off a day and that's it. That's probably the easiest way to do it. Another way to do it is to just book management hours and just tell your front desk, no one's to book me, that's it, and devote yourself to running the business there. Raise your prices, as James said.
Literally go in your book, right? Literally go in.
Literally and mark out your book, the business. Make an appointment with your business. Yeah. Another thing that I would do, I would train that I would understand what my key indicators are. I'd have a very short, sweet report, nothing fancy, that I'd want my manager to give to me every Monday, the management report. So because, you know, we spend too much time in meetings, that's my opinion, and short reports done weekly can be of really help. Here's what's up, here's what happened, key things, because otherwise we interrupt one another all the time and we have to keep one another up to date. So that's all part of a management system that you want to put in place. Another thing that I would recommend, if you work with a group and not, let's say, a Derek or myself or another coach here, but you're working with the summit, okay? And you've been to summit and you based your system.
You.
What?
Then I'm going to mute you. Look, he's muted. And I didn't do it, I promise.
He's
Andrew, you're muted. There you go. Why is his mic not working? I swear I didn't do it.
He's only playing around.
What's he doing, James? That's pretty funny.
That's very funny. Anyway, let's say you're in a Veda salon, okay? And a Veda has a Veda education. Make sure your manager gets educated. If they have, James, you know, the company that Davinus, is it? They have an educational system. Make sure they become immersed in it. It's part of your culture Don't ignore it.
Yeah,
Really.
and I feel like that's something too that you can't sleep on. Listen, any education that you get is good education, especially if you're tied into this industry. I mean, so many salons. So I know we've been really fortunate that a lot of the salon owners that have been on BBR, not to say that, by the way, you're all better than every other salon owner, but I'm not saying that, except I said it on the microphone.
Yes, they are.
No, but I mean, you were owners that came out during this whole craziness and wanted to do better things, and we get such great comments, and the interaction is not even just on the live calls, but in some of the comments and the after calls and things has been great. You're all go-getters that want to do better, and as an industry, that's what we need. Those are the groupings that we need, and no offense to the PBA or anything else out there, but man, I would rather have. I had a little short five salon owner group that were really good friends of mine. We all carried the same brand, and we had a once a week meeting for a half hour just to, cry, complain, talk about what we're gonna do next, whatever it was, quick and dirty, 30 minutes, and we were all friends before that. But I can't tell you how many times we all get back together and we're like, man, I wish we still had the time to do these calls while we were closed. But that's what you need, is that you need a group like us. You need a little sect of other owners that are in your area. They're not your competition. These are people that can help you with ideas for your area and maybe give you an inkling about what your stylists do. I like what Cindy said earlier. Maybe the stylists need a group that doesn't just complain about commissions, or taxes. Death and taxes, the only two things that we know are definitely for certain, right? And you're going to complain about that?
I felt so bad for that owner, and I know you did too, James. It was like, she just wanted to get it out there, and, it would be cool, but that's not us, right? We're not here to teach stylists. If they want to come in as potential salon owners, yes. But my hope is that somebody out there with a group that caters to stylists actually teaches them what it would be like to be a business owner. And if any of you are out there, Bella, fire up your own group. I'll help you build it, seriously, because it's a needed education from the bottom up that's there. This is a salon owner group, so it's a little bit different, but somebody should start a group like that. There are salon stylist groups out there, but none of them that I see actually teach a business education from the bottom up. They're talking about other topics. If they could talk from the bottom up what it's like to be a salon owner, if you ever want to be one, I think it's a key thing that's missing in our education system, even inside of beauty schools themselves. I think it's super important that schools should be educating, especially with all these suites coming up, right? Because basically those suite owners are business owners, and there's no education to help them realize it. All they get is, I'm not going to name the companies, but one of these suite companies coming out and say, you're going to make more money. It's great. It's this, it's that. Then they don't actually break down what your taxes are and what your back bar is and all those other things that you need to do. And it's such an important need in the industry. It's an unfilled gap. So I give this to you. Any of you out there that want help building a group to that effect, we're more than willing to help you. But it's not our group.
Funny you should bring up the suites. Today, one of the major suite groups posted they're having a webinar on how to make the transition from employee to suite owner. That's what we're talking about. And they're doing their, they're doing their marketing, they're doing their thing. And will they teach them about business? I don't know. One thing that I always heard, and I want to bring to everyone's attention, if you hire someone, a manager, the manager's always going to come back and say, so where's the plan, boss? Where's the plan? So what I'm saying is get a plan. Get a simple, it doesn't have to be big. And Derek and I talk, I'm going to be doing a one-page business plan. I promised that about a month or two ago. And next Monday, I'm going to show everyone who wants to show up how to build one quickly. One-page plan so that you can communicate to people, so that you have something that shows them where they are going. Because a manager is going to want to know where he or she is going to. Okay? They want to work
They
for
need-
people who think that way.
They need direction.
They
Yeah,
need
yeah, they need-
direction. Don't lean
So-
on them for direction. You
No,
can,
like we said earlier, right? So there are two things I wanted to say earlier. I haven't seen a salon owner yet who doesn't want to make more money in their business. There are a couple key ways to do that. One of the ways to do that, if you are working, we'll call you a working stylist owner, then the object is eventually to work your way away from that chair to actually manage your business, make money from your business, because I guarantee you, if you can get to that point, you can make more money from being out from behind the chair than you can make behind that chair. Okay, that's number one. So with that comes an exit plan. We talked about this a couple lessons ago. Everybody should have an exit plan. You should have an exit plan from day one. Andrew will go over this in your business plan, because this is part of your business plan, right? It's how I get in, how the business runs, and then how I exit the business. That might be selling. It might be selling to your employees. It might be staying on board but not working behind a chair, any of those things, right? But you need to have all these plans in place. An exit plan is so important from the day you get involved. You can't even believe, right? So I want you to think in your mind from now with your vision, 10 years, 20 years, whatever that is. Where do I want to be? How do I want my business to be? How do I want to exit my business? Am I selling? Am I giving it to my daughter and still retaining a percentage? Am I selling it to the employees and still retaining a percentage? Any of those things. There are a bunch of exit plans. Start thinking about these things. It all comes down to that, right? As an owner. But then if you're hiring a manager, now you bring on a whole nother level if you can afford it. And that level is owner, manager, probably lead stylist, who is taking care of the redos and educating your stylist how to cut hair, all those great things. It might be a couple people, and then your actual stylist. So you have to build these things in writing, and that's what Andrew's talking about with this one-page business plan.
Yeah,
Super
yeah.
duper important. You need to have this stuff written, and you need to stick to the plan.
well, look, piece of paper, it's your vision, it's the actions that you're going to take, it's your business, and the clearer we are about it, the better we can communicate with other people that we absolutely need to have on board with us. Okay? And people, the more confident, once you do something like that, you will gain a lot of confidence, because plans are for other people. They're for big businesses. No, they're for all of us. Everyone needs a roadmap. So I'm going to show you how to do. It's a one-page plan. It's deceptively simple. Let's put it that way.
You know what's funny, Andrew? I think that's great to do a one-page business plan, because I feel like owners that, that share that with their stylists, not to say, hey, here's my one-page business plan, which they should, but it sort of is applicable across other job descriptions in the company. Like, stylists that we were talking earlier, make more money. I want to do this. I want to do that. Well, what's their business plan for, what do they want to add to the salon? What do they want to do? Do they, it's funny, they get busy enough to where they make the money they want to do, and they don't want to take on a leadership role that they'd be paid for to do education for the younger staff, or, what's their objective too in their career. And that's one of the reasons why, we're structured to do 401ks and things like that, is we want them to, listen, I want you to be able to retire at some point. I mean, listen,
Yeah.
I'm sure there are plenty 85-year-old stylists that are still out there, but it's like, man,
If you want to do that, that's great. That's great. I just don't know many people who do.
Andrew, you know this through experience. The problem is a lot of, I don't even want to, because it's not even senior stylists anymore. It's juniors that go out of business because they had no planning, right? So if you don't have that plan and that exit plan, you may be that person behind the chair until you're too crippled to work, and then you have a yard sale for your salon for the furniture that's left. And that's not what the BBR is about.
No.
We want you to have a proper plan. So I want everybody right now, if you have a pen or a pencil next to you, I want you to write one saying, and I want you to put it on your dream board, whatever you have. I want you to put it on the top of your notebook, and that is proper planning prevents poor performance. Write it down. I promise you, if you stick to that mantra and you write stuff down and you plan in writing, things will change in your life.
Yeah, it's true. And so many times we're intimidated by it, you know, and so it's everyone on this call has the capacity to create something like what I'm talking about. Everyone has it. It's the desire, it's the will, and it's the belief that once you put it down, you start and you can achieve it. You can achieve
I'm
it.
just cracking up. Andrew, I'm literally almost dying inside. Anna said PPPP. Instead of the PPP loan, it's the PPPP. Proper planning prevents poor performance.
It's great.
5 P's. So I did repeat it. Again, proper planning prevents poor performance. And that we were told that in the Marines day in and day out. Okay, so there's always Murphy's Law, which is a whole different subject, which means even with the best planning, you have to be able to adapt to bumps in the road. But if you have this one-page business plan or all these plans down, it will help you succeed as a business owner.
Yeah, and we go back to why people don't do it. You know, it's the pain that they associate with doing process pain. Oh my God, it's going to be so hard, so painful for me. Okay, not so much. Anyone can do it. Or outcome pain. Oh, if I go through all this, as Derek says, proper planning prevents poor performance, and I get another outcome, then it may not be all worth it. Well, I guarantee you, it'll be worth it. I guarantee you, because the worst thing that happens, it doesn't all come to fruition, but you've learned a new skill. You've learned an important skill, you know, and it's something that you can do and you can replicate. And to James's point, you can take, you'll see, I'll give you a little template. And when I say little, it's only on one page, but once you do it once, then you can show people, your team, how they can do it for themselves. Everyone ought to have a plan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was good. You know, it's way back another BBR when we had Steve Gomez on it. He talked about financial planning for your salon and knowing your hourly costs and things like that. He had shared one that you send to your staff. You know, like if they rent a house, if they own a house, whatever it is, but what are their expenses? What is their income? Things that owners typically don't do because, you know, you want them to be good quality employees and stay with the business, but, you know, you want them to be able to financially be successful and not to struggle. But sometimes they don't look. You know, you guys make cash tips that you don't claim and you throw them in your purse and you go out all weekend and spend them and say, oh my God, I don't have enough money to pay my car insurance. But, you know, a little bit of planning from that side, just like the owners, it's sort of that trickle down effect really could be a huge thing for the financial stability, not just of you as the owner or your salon, but your staff too. Those cornerstones really make a big difference for the longevity.
Hey guys, I want to make it important. I'm going to share my screen quickly here. And let's see, let me just get into the right page before I do. Don't want to make sure I have 10 tabs open. I want to show the group, a lot of the group owners have asked many questions that are inside of the group already. And I want to show everybody where to find that, because a lot of people get confused when we say, hey, look in the group files. So just bear with me a second. I'm going to share my screen. And this is super valuable to anybody that's on the call right now. So I'm going to share my screen. Hang in there. Can everybody see my screen right now? James?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. So inside of the group now, depending on if you're on an Apple or a Mac or a PC, I'm on a PC, I use PC. On a Mac, you'll have a little bar across the top that instead of having all these tabs on the left-hand column, they'll be across the top. Okay, the one you're going to look for is Files. Okay, everybody, please click on Files and download this stuff. There are thousands and thousands of dollars worth of information in the Files tab. Okay, here they are. Okay, it goes one page at a time, but at the very bottom, you'll see more, and you can keep going through these. Steve Gomez's stuff is in here. Everything is in here. Nikki Lee's stuff, stuff from Salon Owner Mastermind, stuff from Andrew, me, James, everybody. It's all in here. Definitely look at this stuff and download it. It's all free. And a lot of people don't realize that this is all stuff that's inside of the group free. And I mean, there is a lot in here, a ton. Okay, so I just wanted to get that out there because I have people in the group all the time say things like today we said, oh, how do I calculate sales commission on a sliding scale? Well, guess what? Here's a calculator built right in the group for you. It's all in there. Get in there, absorb this stuff, download it to your computer. It's all free. You'll have a blast with it, I promise you.
Yeah, one of the cool things is that a lot of them, if you guys noticed, if they're Word docs or Excel sheets, that means they can be manipulated. You can put your own numbers in. If it's a Word doc, it's something you can put your own salon name in. So not that you don't want to change too much of it, but it's pretty easy lifting for you just to download some of those things and just swap a few terms out.
Yeah, I mean, all that stuff we've produced for you as owners, and people have spent thousands on. I mean, I have franchise documents in there, which I literally, when I franchised my business, I literally spent tens of thousands of dollars for. I put them in there as a template for you to use. So we're helping you with your learning curve. There's no, you don't have to reinvent a lot of, reinvent a lot of the things when it's already there for you as a template. I just wanted everybody to know that's there, because a lot of people say, what's the value of the group besides these things we do? Well, guess what? We're giving tens of thousands of dollars in free content there for you to use, and that's our gift to you as coaches in here. And so when other people go, hey, go look at strategies or go look at Summit or one of these other groups, please look in the files. It's probably already there.
That's true. That's true. You know, Derek, we ought to do a little glossary and send it around.
Yeah, I wish we could. Unfortunately, inside of the Facebook group, they don't allow you to like organize it properly. So you got a search guide.
We can send it to. We can send it. Let me see what I can do.
BBR list. Absolutely. We can send it out to the BBR.
To all the members. Yeah.
I just wanted everybody to know the value that we're here as coaches for free is. There are so many coaches charging $2,000 and $3,000 up front for half of the information that's just inside of those files of that group. So every coach that's been in here in the BBR has contributed to this, and please use it to your own advantage.
Yeah, really, really good stuff in there. I mean, there really isn't anything that you can't find. I don't know. Listen, that's the mission, right? Find something that's not in there and we'll add it. So everybody that's on the call tonight, search through there. And if you say, there's really nothing for this, we will add it in. Just let us know what the missing ingredients are.
Or if you all have something that you're using that's really working, share it with us. Love to see.
Absolutely.
Really love to see what you're doing. What's working, what's not working. So we can help. What else?
Thank you, Laura. Laura is such a sweetheart. Laura, I got to tell you, one of the reasons all these coaches are here tonight and we're here on a regular basis is because we have a passion to fix the industry. We all have a right to make money, and I ask that you support any coaches that are involved in this group with their own coaching programs. I know the coaches in here are not those ones that are going to, I don't want to say rape you, but take you for a whole bunch of money up front and then not provide the value. But I know the coaches in here do. They're pretty inexpensive and they provide a lot of value. And most of them guarantee that they're going to help you. So please support the coaches that have helped build this thing. There is that ton of free content. I just wanted to get that out to everybody. And we appreciate you as a group as much as you appreciate the education.
So that's it. Lots of love on Facebook. Lots of thank yous in the Zoom call. What's our topic for next Monday? What are we gonna talk
We're
about?
gonna do one. We're gonna do a how to create a one-page plan for your salon spa, or yeah, your salon and spa.
We love that idea, Andrew. That's going to be fantastic, and I'm glad that you're doing it because Derek, all of a sudden, one page, it becomes like the Constitution. It's like one.
No, this
Shut
is
up. I'm not Mickey. Shut up.
Yeah, I know. Andrew is going to be an 8.5 by 11 one page. I'm confident of that. Everybody,
it is an 8.5 by 11.
make sure that you all tune in next Monday.
And those people who show up, I will send them. Everyone's going to get the template.
And an autographed copy of it from Andrew.
What?
They're going to get an autographed copy.
No, because they'll do it, and I'll have some other goodies for people who show up.
Oh,
Because I
James
really-
and Andrew, I have a quick challenge to both of you. One thing we said in the beginning is we were going to produce a certificate. I've been tracking who's been on for how many episodes and that type of stuff. So we are going to do a certified BBR test and then a certificate for anybody that's participated through a lot of the lessons. And you can always watch the back lessons in the YouTube channel to be able to, we'll call it, pass the test. And guys, we want to make sure you're getting the value and you're learning what needs to be learned. So we're going to put together a test, and then we're going to put out certificates to everybody to say you've gone through the BBR, and that should be exciting. You can post those certificates up, whatever you want to do. Use them as continuing education. Doesn't matter. It's up to you. But I just want to put that out there, Andrew and James. Next task.
That'll be a fun.
What is the maximum amount of commission that makes sense to offer?
Exactly. Those type of
70%.
Exactly. So be prepared. That's coming up, and it'll be fun.
I like it. Cindy wants a T-shirt. I think if she gets a T-shirt though, it's probably going to have to be what it says on your hat, Andrew. I think that.
I don't have the rights on this one.
Well,
we're doing BBR. Embrace the suck.
That go for it. I don't think the Marines are going to come and, your old sergeant's not going to come and tear you out of your
Exactly. What are they
plane.
going to do?
hey, listen, if you
All
look
right,
really close, he's sleeping in the front of the
Keep
plane
going.
right there.
I think so.
That's funny.
So, hey, big fun. Thanks everybody for showing up tonight to BBR episode 55. We will see you next Monday. Andrew will be presenting a one-page business plan. I'm excited to see that lesson.
Guarantee you it's really worth it to show up, and we'll create it together for you.
I like it.
I agree. Good night, everybody, and have a great week. Be prosperous and healthy.
All righty, everyone.
Good night, guys.